Packers head out west to take on the Los Angeles Rams in SoFi. Both the Packers and the Rams reeling from tough losses. But who has the edge? Let's go.
Yeah, I've been wanting this shit forever. I've been in the field with whatever they throw at me. Brush it off, pick myself up, moving on to the better. Okay. Hey. Yeah. Ain't no errors, baby. It's a new era. I wake up early feeling rich like I'm cash.
Welcome in another episode. Sounds good. On today's episode, we take a look at the Los Angeles Rams. We are heading out west to our favorite state of California to take on the Los Angeles Rams there in SoFi. But before we do that, I am one of your two co-hosts. My name is Ralph. Next to me is my best friend, Jordan Olson. We appreciate you all coming back and taking a listen to us. Just know that in season, we are going to be coming out with new episodes every Wednesday and every Saturday. So every Wednesday will be the recap from the following game, and then every Saturday will be the preview for the next one. So we definitely appreciate you all coming back and taking a listen to us. So Jordan, I know historically California kind of scares me, just in general, the states of California and Florida, as we have not fared well. I believe the last time we were in SoFi, we did lose. I could be wrong on that. I think that was against the Chargers, but looks like we're going to go down there. The Packers are a 3.5-point favorite. The Rams did just lose to the Bears in what was a pretty entertaining and pretty close game. I believe that was 24-18. What are some things you're looking here as far as this?
Yeah, some interesting storylines. You know, Matt LaFleur is a perfect 4-0 against Sean McVay and the Los Angeles Rams in his time as a head coach with the Green Bay Packers. They're traveling west to face off against his little brother, Mike. So you got some brotherly love going on here. You know, you've got some NFL pedigree. Chris Shula, son of former Bengals head coach Dave Shula, grandson of the legendary Don Shula. He's the new defensive coordinator after Raheem Morris leaves to be the Falcons head coach. And, you know, I think overall, after Donald retired, you're seeing a Rams team that was on a very similar projected trajectory to the Packers. And hey, this is going to be a bona fide NFC playoff team. And they're off to some struggles. And clearly, they have some injuries, more catastrophic injuries than we've had. And, you know, no Cooper Kupp. Puka Nacua is on the IR. Their offensive line is beat up, which we'll probably get into some injuries more later on. But two teams that have not had the starts to their season that I think a lot of NFL fans or probably people in those buildings would have expected. So
yeah, for sure. You know, I think it'll be a good matchup. I'm always kind of cautious when you come against a team that's either lost a game or especially two, kind of playing the have nothing to lose card. I think we all thought, what was it, 2 weeks ago, the Rams were going to just walk, or the 49ers were going to walk all over but obviously the 49ers are going through some stuff too, and the Rams ended up pulling that one out late. Thank you, Rams. So, you know, even without Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp, you know, I think obviously there's going to be some key battles here. I think trying to stop their running game and Kyron Williams, he's a very, very good, talented running back. I think that typically helps, although I believe he had a good game against the Bears. So obviously, there's different ways to beat them, too, as well. But for the Packers as well, just to hit on it a little bit, too, run the ball on them. Jordan, I think you hit me with a stat that was pretty eye-opening, is that I think they're last in the league and giving up rushing yards. So obviously, that's going to be a big one, and we alluded to it, too, in the last video. But, you know, just being able to run the ball effectively, that's going to take a lot of pressure off Jordan Love and make those passes, specifically play action, even better.
yeah, I mean, they're giving up like a whopping 165 rush yards per game right now. And DeAndre Swift, who's had a really unimpressive season.
He looked good.
He had a big game against the Rams. So, you know, that gives me a lot of hope for what the likes of Josh Jacobs, Emmanuel Wilson can do. It makes me wish that we had Marshawn Lloyd right now, because I think he's a really similar type of player to what DeAndre Swift brings, a little bit more east and west, a little bit more jump cut in him. I don't know. I think we could have our way with the Rams on the ground if we have a lead in this game and we have a playbook that's open up and we don't have to sit 50 yards or 50 times again like we did against the Vikings.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we dug ourselves a hole in that with the Vikings. I think that's like duh. So Obviously, had to pass quite a bit to get back into that, but I think that this game will be a little bit more balanced, a lot more balanced. And there was another stat too in here as well, but they're 22nd against the pass as well. So, obviously it's going to hurt to have Christian Watson out. He stretches the field and in a really good way. Insert Bo Melton. He can do a lot of the same things. He's obviously not as tall or athletic of a freak as Christian Watson is, but he's a very good, talented wide receiver. We saw that from last year. Continuing to cook with Jaden Reed and Devontae Wicks. Hopefully he can catch a couple more balls in this one too as well. But it's definitely a team that's very vulnerable against both the rush and the pass. So, the Packers played really well that second half against the Vikings, but I'm looking for them to come out with a little bit more juice, a little bit more rhythm, a little bit more cadence, and to score quite a bit on the Rams this week.
Sorry, I'm over here chuckling because that's our name debauchery for this week. I think you said it the last episode too, but Dontavian Wicks.
No, what did I say?
I think Dante Wicks or something, or Devontae Wicks, Dontavian.
Yeah, Devontae Wicks. I like it, yeah.
We want to see him be Devontae Wicks, right? I mean,
yeah, we do.
That was what all that off-season chatter was all about, but we have yet to see him materialize that. Why we're on the Rams defense, they're tied for third worst in the NFL with fewest sacks. I think they've only sacked the quarterback 4 times this season. So if we do have to pass the ball, whether we're forced into that because we're playing a little bit behind, it should allow Jordan Love to be a little bit more comfortable back there, especially in our last episode, we talked about the play of our offensive tackles right now. If they can continue to play at the high level that they're playing at, and keep the pass rushers, which it sounds like they're having some pass rush issues, kind of like we are too, although we had an 8-sack game and they've only got 4 sacks on the season. We can protect Jordan Love and give him time to dice up that secondary, which is a pretty new secondary. I think that if I look at the Rams offseason additions, they've spent significantly adding Tre'Davious White, former great corner for the Buffalo Bills, added Darius Williams, and then Cameron Curl, which was like kind of one of those like budget safeties that we had a lot of chatter about for the Packers to add. I liked Cameron Curl as like the number 2, number 3 option on the shopping list this offseason. And, they've invested pretty heavily there, although they haven't quite seen the return on their investment yet. But, new defensive coordinator, new pieces, I think similar. They're kind of trying to figure it out right now too.
Yeah, and I like their draft picks too as well. Just going through it, Jared Verse, Florida State. Brandon Fisk, Florida State, they doubled up there. Blake Corum out of Michigan, he's a solid running back. Cameron Kitchens, I think at one point was touted as one of the better safeties, but tested really, really bad. So I think the Rams do a good job of drafting. Obviously got some key free agents. They just always seem to get really injured. I don't know if there's another stat on this, but one of the most injured teams. I feel like they got to be up there. Obviously losing Aaron Donald and a few of those.
I think every Packers fan would tell you that we are the most injured team. I don't know if that's true, but that's certainly, I think, every Packers fan's feeling.
Yeah, for sure. Packers are up there. That's what I'm saying. I'd love to see a stat on that. I feel like the Rams are up there. They have to be, because I always feel like they're freaking decimated. They don't have their top 2 wide receivers. Stafford, he's like 50 years old too. He can still sling it. No, calm down, Rams fans. I'm saying he's still very good. He can still sling it, but he gets injured quite often. He's an older guy. So, it's gonna be a fun matchup. I like SoFi. Maybe someday, we'll actually get to go down there and see a game in SoFi. That'd be really cool. But I'm looking forward to seeing a little bit of that new stadium and for them to have a good bounce back game after the Vikings.
Yeah, and just kind of speaking of injuries, kind of a look at there's a lot of key players on both sides of the ball, and we are recording this early in the week, which does give Rob and I a disadvantage. Maybe one of these days we'll be able to align our schedules for like a Friday recording after the final injury report comes out. God, that would be nice to have that information. So we're kind of projecting, but we don't know what the status of Jair Alexander is going to be. Hopefully, Matt LaFleur didn't indicate that he thought that was going to be too serious, but he also didn't say, I expect to have him back next week at this point in time. So those groin injuries can be a little naggy. Valentine's been week to week with his ankle injury. We're probably going to fare a lot better against the Rams' downfield weapons right now without Kupp and Nakua. But even getting one of those guys back would be a big boost to our Packers secondary. We've talked a lot about the Packers pass rush, and probably the guy that I've been most impressed with from the interior side, Devontae Wyatt, is now going to miss some time seemingly with a lower leg injury. He was last seen in a walking boot and a crutch. So insert Colby Wooden, which has been a healthy scratch. The likes of, Wooden, who knows, maybe even your boy Jonathan Ford gets a call up off the practice squad. I don't know if he's healthy yet, though, either, because I know he was put on that designated for return list. This is week 5, so it would be the first time he's eligible if he is healthy. But, I love me some Carl Brooks. I would love this to be a big Carl Brooks week, a big Kenny Clark week. And then we know that Christian Watson's not going to play. It's early, but Matt LaFleur all but said that he's going to miss at least a week, and Ian Rappaport even said they could see him on the IR. So high ankle sprains, I think, typically are some of those injuries that linger 4 to 6 weeks. Hopefully, we're looking on the shorter side of that, and we can get him into the second half of the season and get him healthy. So, what are you seeing on the Rams side of the ball for key injuries outside of the wide receivers, Rob?
Yeah. Obviously Cooper Kupp, Puka Nakua, those are the big ones. Couple other big ones for them we were just alluding to, but the offensive line, both guards, Jonah Jackson, guard's got a shoulder, he's on IR. Steve Avila, one of those, again, probably butchered another name, but he's on IR too. John Johnson, the third, the safety, he's on IR. And then Tyler Higbee tied in the knee, but he might be eligible to return from the PUP, so we'll have to see on that one.
With the injuries to the interior, and again, they've got a lot of nice young players that can fill in there. Again, like some of their draft picks, they got Bo Limmer. They picked up Dylan Mahone off of the Eagles practice squad, which was an interior player that I really like. They've got some guys there, but they don't have a lot of experience. So I see that as an area that we can attack and should this week. But yeah, I'm trying to think, I think as you alluded to, if we can contain Kyron Williams and we can rush the ball, I feel really good about this week, which kind of leads us into our score predictions. Rob, how are you feeling right now, early in the week, about this game and what the Packers are going to do against the Rams?
Yeah, I feel like this will be a good bounce back game. I loved what I was seeing there from the Packers, from the offense in the second half. I do think that they'll be able to run the ball a lot better. I think the defense won't completely, have a mishap in that first half there. Hopefully, I know injuries will have something to do with that too, obviously as well. But give me a 31-24 victory for the Packers.
And I'm going a big execution week for the Packers. I think this is finally the week where they execute because they've had enough. I think that we see the penalties not eliminated, but reduced. Hopefully we don't have so many crippling things there. I don't feel like I don't know, this is just a gut feeling, and we're probably going to go and kick like 5 field goals. But I feel like this is going to be the game that the offense is going to move. Matt LaFleur, although he says we believe in Braden Arbison, we could see him go for it on like a 4th and 2 or 4th and 3 to avoid a 40-yard field goal. And I think we just put the ball in the end zone a bunch. And I see a 35-17 get-right game against the Rams. I think the offense scores early and often. I think we get comfortable. I think that by the time we get into the second half, it never really feels like a game, and we're not going to do what the Vikings did for us, and we're not going to let them back in. Now, that's just my gut feeling. The young, hungry Packers don't like to lose these games. They've shown resiliency and bounce back after tough losses in the past, and I'm feeling good. We'll see if other news makes me feel another way later in the week, but that's how I feel now. So, do you have something to add to that, Rob?
I would just ride your gut, baby. Ride it. That's the same feeling I have too. So, we'll we'll see. John needs to come back. Valentine, we need to get some, more cornerback depth. That makes a massive difference. The backup wide receivers, they could still hurt us. So we still need to be cautious as far as that goes. But I feel a big victory in execution. Same.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So, yeah, just super excited. We enter a stretch here where we should win the next 2 games, really. The Cardinals looked really good early on. The Rams are beat up, but I really hope and expect to win the next 2 weeks for us to start to tighten things up going into that big showdown against the Texans. So I'm hoping to be 4-2 that point in time. I'm hoping that get to be really excited to go to that game with my family and come out with at least go in with a big game and, come out with a big victory. But as always, Rob and I, we've got more great content coming out from Sounds Gouda every Wednesday and Saturday right now. So thanks for listening. Give us a share, make sure to like us. Check us out on YouTube. We're available on Spotify and Apple Podcast as well. So right now, just be transparent. We're trying to get to 100 subscribers. Maybe we'll be over that mark by the time you get to this on Saturday. But if not, and you like what we're doing, help us out. Give us a subscribe, right? So connect with us on X. Rob can be found at Robber79 and myself at Olson Jord. So until next time, Packers Nation, have a Gouda morning, a Gouda afternoon, and a Gouda night. Go Pack Go.
Go Pack Go.
Been wanting this shit forever. I've been in the field with whatever they throw at me. Brush it off, pick myself up.